Hammond City Council public hearing, March 14, 2023, 5:30 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Divatario. Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Leon.
Present.
And Councilman Wells.
Public hearing number 1.
An ordinance to transfer $42,964.91 from the Downtown Development District Fund 207 balance to the line item of sidewalk improvements within the DDD Fund 207-75100-570-302. Michelle Kendall.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Last meeting, we went ahead and we did the introduction of ordinance, and I believe the proper procedure for us to move from our general fund balance to the sidewalk improvement line item. So I believe part of that is first a public hearing. So this is being presented again in a public hearing, and then later on the agenda for final adoption, if you so will do that. I don't know if you have any additional questions about this item since we first presented it last meeting, but for brevity, I'll just kind of leave it up to you if you have any questions right now.
Anyone from the public have a question or comment on this particular item? Anyone from the council have any additional questions? All right. Thank you. Public hearing item number 2.
An ordinance to transfer $43,000 from the sales tax fund balance 203 to building maintenance, sidewalk maintenance, line item 100-28500-530129 for the sidewalk improvements project at 108 Northwest Railroad Avenue, Lacey Landrum.
I should have Michelle come before everyone when we have to do budget transfers because she basically explained it. Just to recall in your memory from last meeting, this is a three-way split to leverage our expenses and to leverage the DDD funds with the property owners' funds. So it's a equal three-way split of $43,000, approximately $43,000 for each of us. For the city's case, the DDD was taking it from their general fund balance into the line item. For the city's case, we're taking it from the sales tax fund balance, where we have well over millions of dollars, and moving it into our sidewalk maintenance line, so we can use it from there.
Anyone from the public have a question or comment on this item? Any additional questions to follow up from anyone on the council? Thank you, Lacey. Public hearing item number 3.
An ordinance to declare as surplus and authorize the sale of the following items on govdeals.com. Janice Swallow.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
The list of items below have been turned over by the departments. They have been deemed in poor condition or no longer used to the department heads, so they have turned them over for us for surplus. So we're asking for council's approval to surplus them and sell on GovDeals.
Okay. Anyone from the public have a question or comment on this particular item? Any follow-up questions or comments from anyone on the council? Thank you, Jana. All right. Hammond City Council regular session agenda, March 14th, 2023, 5:34 p.m. Roll call, please.
Councilman Andrews.
Present.
Councilman Divatario.
Present.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Present.
Councilman Leon.
Present.
Prayer. Most gracious Father, we come to you on today, thanking you, Father God, for who you are, thanking you that you touched our bodies this morning, dear Heavenly Father. Our eyes came open to a brand new day. Father God, we just thank you for your darling Son, who you allowed to die upon the cross just for our sins. He paid the ultimate price just for us. And for that, we just want to tell you thank you. Father God, we come right now, lifting our cities up to you right now. We actually continue to bless our fire department, cover them, watch them, our police department, watch over them as they protect and serve and keep us. Right now, Father God, continue to bless our administration, the mayor, the city employees right now, Father God. Continue to bless each council member, their family, and their districts in which they're representing right now, Father God. We just thank you for the opportunity to be able to serve right now, Father God. Continue to create in us a clean heart and a clean mind as we continue to move forward to handle the business that is set before us, where you will get all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise. Now, Father, I'm going to ask you to do what you've always done. Watch over us, guide us, and continue to keep us and protect us from all hurt, harm, and danger. Right now, Father God, and for that we give you glory, we give you honor, we give you praise, and we give you thanks. We ask that you continue to bless Hammond right now. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Our pledge of allegiance, all veterans and active military, please render the proper salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Can I get a motion? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Can I get a motion to approve our minutes from our February 28th, 2023 meeting, please?
Make a motion to approve.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Presentation at this time from the Railroad Park History Exhibit.
Good evening, Council. I figured that since I would be here for a few other things, I would just go ahead and make the best use of my time and kind of bring you up to date on one project that we're doing. Railroad Park is set to get a history exhibit for documenting our railroad history in Hammond. I'm going to go ahead and pass this out to you. So it's just a quick one-pager that we kind of put together to give you a snapshot of the project. We have a work group comprised of the Hammond Historic District,
Thank you.
the Tangible African American Heritage Museum and Veteran Archives. We've also been, Lacey has kind of been looped in on it too, kind of earlier on. And we have a really kind of motivated group to get this project off the ground. We do have some grant funding from the State Historic Preservation Fund to fund this, and we're also funding it by our Railroad Park brick and bench sales. So we have some input sessions that we've kind of put together over these next couple of days to kind of bring awareness to the project. We're in our drafting kind of phase right now, and we'll be presenting our finalized panels to the public sometime in April. So we just kind of wanted to put it on your radar that we're looking for the public to get involved, any of your constituents, and also you yourselves if you're if you're interested about it. We'd like for you to be a part of it if you want to. We do plan on doing a grand reveal kind of ceremony whenever we get to the installation phase, which will be sometime this fall. And so you'll be invited to that when we get there. We really are trying to, with our group, make these history panels kind of as inclusive as possible. So we had to narrow our focus to be the railroad history of Hammond, because it could have been a whole can of worms. There's so much history to kind of document. But with Ms. Shauna Seals and Mr. Delmas Dunn at the table, and the Hammond Historic District, we kind of have a good knowledge base that we can kind of go off of with documenting and including some African American history. And then Dr. Hyde at the Center for Southeast Louisiana Studies is kind of doing all of our fact checking once we get to that stage, so that we know everything that we're putting on these panels is true and factual for our railroad history in town.
Sounds good.
I think that'll be a nice addition because, people who come to town have no idea about Hammond. You see it in other towns is where you can see historic plaques to kind of give someone an idea of what's going on. I bet you there's lots we'll learn too, even though you've been here forever.
Oh, yeah. And I think that's one thing, just this is going to be a public opportunity. Basically, it's going to be free. And so it'll be kind of one of these first steps to doing other points for history in town. It would be a good way to get all that started for us.
Great. Thank you.
I'm excited.
Yes, thank you.
Final adoption of ordinance number 1.
Final adoption of an ordinance to transfer $42,964.91 from the Downtown Development District Fund
Let's go.
207, balance to the line item of sidewalk improvements within the DDD fund. 20775-100-570302. Michelle?
Okay, once again, so Lacey kind of introduced this in the hearing component. Like she said, this is a third weight split that our board of directors approved at our last meeting. So just seeking the final adoption for us to move those funds from our general fund to the sidewalk improvement line item.
Anyone from the public? Any other questions or concerns from anyone on the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Final item of adoption number 2. Ordinance, I'm sorry.
Final adoption of an ordinance to transfer $43,000 from the sales tax fund balance 203 to build and maintenance, sidewalk maintenance line item 100-28500-530129 for the sidewalk improvements project at 108 Northwest Railroad Avenue, Lacey Landrum.
I feel like Lisa has the hardest job here in reading out all of our budget numbers. Just like Michelle stated, and just like we just stated in the public hearing, this is just taking money from our fund balance, which is kind of like the city's savings, and putting it up into the expense line item so it can be used.
Anyone from the public? Any other questions or concerns from anyone on the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Final adoption of ordinance number 3.
Final adoption of an ordinance to declare as surplus and authorize the sale of the following items on govdeals.com. Janice Swallow.
Again, we're just asking for final approval to be able to surplus these items and sell them on GovDeals.
Anyone from the public? Anyone from the council have any other questions or concerns on this matter? If not, pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Thank you, Jana.
Thank you, Jana.
All right. Introduction of ordinance and set for public hearing. Introduction number 1.
Introduction of an ordinance to establish procedures related to retired service animals. Chief Bergeron?
This ordinance was drafted by our city attorney, and it's needed for when a change was done in the state law, and it's needed to conform with our local ordinance to be able for a canine handler to officially adopt a dog after that dog is no longer eligible for service due to injury or age, other restrictions like that.
Correct.
Anyone from the public?
So we just saw an error in the way it was written, or what motivated this?
No, there was a recent change in the state law. Previous, the city was able to basically allow the handler to take over the animal, because at that point, it's the medical care for the animal that's no longer in service became a burden to the city. So the traditional way was the handler would just basically get the dog. State law changed. That basically said municipalities have to adopt an ordinance for a procedure on how to do that. And it talked about a sale or a transfer, and they talk about some value. You have to establish the value. Now, it may be that you have to consult with a licensed veterinarian for, how to handle the animal. So all this does is basically creates a process and a procedure for how to handle the animals who are retired from service.
So it's already drafted up?
It's
Okay,
the
cool.
it's
All right.
the ordinance here.
Okay, good deal.
Any other questions from anyone?
We're not going to be trying to sell dogs on GovDeals. Right. I mean,
That's not the
It's
intent.
Reading
actually
the-
to try to, it's to try to
Okay.
basically avoid that, you know,
Okay.
that the canine handler and the dog have established a long-term
Relationship,
relationship. And so it still affords the canine handler the first right to purchase that dog for the value and to then retire.
So how have we been doing it then? Like when they retire, the city's been taking care of it this whole
Basically, it was
time?
giving it to the handler.
Giving it to the handler?
Yes.
Okay.
But the state law then came in just a year or so ago, and then put a statute that talked about establish a procedure for it, and we need a procedure for it.
so reading the ordinance, though, it says that if the handler or trainer doesn't want to acquire it, basically at the price, it goes to offer for sale for the highest bidder. Is there not a way to build in offer to other individuals in its life before it goes to public bid on the official journal of the city?
Good. I mean, the statute
The
basically.
difference
allows-
is if the handler of the dog says, I don't want it, or something happens to the handler, we're limited to only the handler or the trainer, and then we have to post it on the website and have a public bid on a dog. I mean,
It could be a private sale. It
but
doesn't.
the
by a
highest
private
bidder
sale
at a
after
private sale.
advertisement. So basically, let the public know, we have an animal that's available, folks can inquire, and it allows a public sale. You just have to advertise it to the public, that the animal's available.
okay, we can think about it more. I just, it's an animal, it's not a broke-down Jeep, so I just, all right, I'll think about it more.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, where am I now?
Comments? maybe?
Yeah, motion.
Yes, any other questions or comments, or anything on this particular item? All right. Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to introduce.
Second.
Councilman Andrews,
Aye.
Councilman Divatario,
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez,
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Public hearing is scheduled for March 28, 2023.
All right, introduction of ordinance number 2.
Introduction of an ordinance to revise the requirements for permits to ambulance services and other provisions relative thereto. Dwayne Mesh.
Dwayne is here tonight from Acadian. Dwayne had worked with Tangipahoa Parish already in updating their ordinance. I believe the last time we looked at ours was 99? 1990, so even late, even earlier. Our ordinance has been on the books for a long time. It needed a lot of alignment with state law and with state certifications and provisions for the services of ambulance services. So Dwayne carefully worked with the parish. Our ordinance would be aligned with the parish since this is a parish-wide kind of support service. And Dwayne's here to answer any kind of technical questions you may have. But really what this does is just align us both with the parish and with state law in terms of the certifications and the overall training and what's necessary on ambulances, equipment-wise, and those kinds of things.
Councilman. My name's Dwayne Mesh. I'm with Acadian Ambulance Service, and as she said, I worked with the Quality Assurance Panel for Ambulance Service in Tangipahoa Parish. Since we do provide service to Tangipahoa Parish under a contract, and the city of Hammond for years has had an intergovernmental agreement with the parish for that, the two ordinances mirror. And it was brought to our attention, or actually I brought it to Mr. Lewis Joseph and Mr. Lionel Wells' attention that, it was getting harder and harder for compliance with the ordinance, although we had the contract we were operating under. Just simple things as who inspects the ambulances, where do we turn in the permit, and so on and so forth. So we cleaned it up on the parish side. After we did that, I reached out to the mayor's office to see if we could align or mirror the one for the city that's presently there. They were both adopted back in the 1990s, and obviously there was a lot of need for some changes. They're very simple changes, and we just ask that you consider doing that to make the two mirror.
And Andre did review this as well for us.
Anyone from the public have any questions? Anyone from the council have any questions or concerns? Okay, if not, pleasure of the council.
Motion introduced.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Public hearing is scheduled for March 28, 2023.
Resolution number 1.
A resolution to authorize the purchase of 3 2023 Ram 1500 SSV Crew Cab 4x4s for the fire department from Premier Automotive. Total cost, $119,818.35. State contract 4400023795. Chief Oaks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
2 meetings in a row. This is getting,
I know, lucky you.
all right. So this is back in, and I sent you all an email a little late today, but back in 2021, December of 2021, we had, y'all approved us to get 3 F-150s. For whatever reason, I'm not sure if it was a Ford issue or whatever, but those were actually canceled, and we've kind of experienced this throughout the emergency services world when dealing with pickup trucks and Tahoes and everything else. So we were notified of that. So basically, what this does is Dodge actually has opened their state contract up and is building these vehicles right now. So we're trying to take an opportunity. This is replacing those 3 that were actually canceled from that order back in 2021 or the end of 2021. So we're just asking that you approve it so we can hopefully get some replacement vehicles this time around.
So who, I'm trying to understand, who canceled it? Or how did it cancel? Y'all put an order in, and y'all just let it submit, and then a year went by, and then y'all checked on them? Or how did that work, like, with the process of that?
So I'm not 100% sure with that. Jan, I may offer some more insight on that as far as that, but we were notified. I even had several of the local fire districts had orders in for Ford trucks, and they just up and said, hey, we're not making your vehicle. Sorry.
Ford did a cutoff, and they didn't accept anymore, I'm sorry. They did a cutoff, and the orders that was placed from the municipalities and everywhere that was actually through the dealerships was there. Ford no longer accepted those orders from Bill Hood. Every time we try to get new trucks, I reach back out to Bill Hood, Mr. Mark Campbell, every time, and he tells me that they're still to this day not accepting new orders. Dodge is the only one that is now taking our orders and putting it into production. So this is the same contract that the PD came in a couple months ago. It's the same trucks that we're just moving forward, trying to get some more vehicles in for the city.
So, yeah, so they accepted the order initially, and then they rejected it, then they canceled it after processing.
We kept calling and asking, and he finally, the mayor even reached out to him, wanting to know what's going on, and he was like, they're no longer taking production. They don't notify them, follow up and check, and he was like, you're not even in the production queue. So we would still be sitting there if we didn't call and say, hey, what's going on with it?
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Anyone from the public? Any other questions or concerns from anyone on the council?
This is all coming from your millage, Chief. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Thank you, Chief.
Thank y'all.
Thanks, Chief.
Resolution number 2.
A resolution to approve Millen's Wood-Fired Pizza located at 505 West Thomas Street, Hammond, Louisiana, 70401, to obtain a permit to sell on-premise high-low alcohol. The owner is Melon's Wood Fire Pizza, LLC, Casey Daigle.
Good afternoon. We come before y'all to get a on-premise alcohol permit from Milan's Wood Fire Pizza. This is the old poorhouse. It underwent ownership change, so it's now Milan's. They've done everything we've requested. inspections and everything else, applications in order, so we just come before y'all tonight to get the approval. Mr. Dominguez is in the audience if y'all have any questions for them.
Anyone from the public on this matter? Any questions or concerns from anyone on the council concerning this matter? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wales?
Thank you.
Thank you. Resolution number 3.
A resolution to authorize the mayor to sign Task Order 2 with Principal Engineering for $299,930 to complete Phase 2 and 3 of the flood study. Lacey Landrum.
Previously, we have signed an ongoing contract agreement with Principal Engineering for these services for the overall flood study. In 2021, we signed Task Order 1, which was for Phase 1 of that flood study. They brought back some of the deliverables from that, did a presentation to the City Council, also indicated that to continue with this, they kind of gave us cost estimates for both Phases 2 and 3. And at the end of this, the final determination is sent to FEMA for a review. It does not guarantee certain things, but they have done all the data gathering and whatnot in order to prepare that package and all the comments back and forth with FEMA. Henry DeFranco is here from Principal Engineering. Andre Monet is the engineer who has presented to you on several occasions. This money is budgeted in capital improvements. You did budget $300,000 for both Phases 2 and 3, and this task order would authorize them to proceed with both Phase 2 and Phase 3 and is within budget. It's my understanding it may not have made it linked up, so you have in front of you the same copy that was emailed to the City Council members approximately 2 weeks ago when we received this. And many thanks to Councilwoman Gonzalez for also reaching out to them to kind of confirm the scope and get this ball rolling again. Henry's here if you have any questions.
Come on over.
Good evening, Council.
Good evening.
Henry DeFranco, Principal Engineering. Just as Lacey mentioned, this is an effort that started back in 2018, and I believe that we completed an actual reconnaissance report that was outside of even Task 1, just to give a determination of what our thoughts were and our opinion on the existing firm maps. And we prepared a report with a presentation, which then everyone agreed at that point that it looked favorable for us to continue. So the next step of that was to collect the field data, which has occurred. And we have all the data that we need to do our hydraulic modeling and then determine what the results would be. If you have I believe the proposal for this task includes a map of the study area. So I apologize for not being aware of what council members were here when we gave the initial presentations, but the map in this proposal shows what the study area is. It's the dashed line.
Area.
It's the areas that are in flood
zone.
Flood zone, correct. So it does not include the areas that are within the city limits that are not in that boundary.
And that looks like to me all the areas in flood zones, pretty much city, not just a
That's it.
particular area. Yeah.
Not one particular area.
Exactly.
It's the area of the flood zone, and actually the study area extends outside the city limit due to the drainage basins.
Sounds good.
How much we have spent so far on this here project?
Also, in the document for this task, it shows what the cost was for the data gathering, $81,440. But as I mentioned, we were initially tasked under a $30,000 effort just to do a reconnaissance, to give an opinion as to what our thoughts were on the existing firm maps. So the 81, 440 plus the 30 has been spent to date.
Is Andre still with y'all? Andre?
Yes,
Okay.
he is. He's still working on this project. He just had a commitment tonight, so he sent me to take his place. And again, for those that weren't here in the presentation,
We are-
on
I
the
think
presentations.
This is the same council that,
The same council?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. You know, in the documents of the presentation, there's one depiction, and, you know, for those that, if you could go back to it, that really shows what's happening. And this is just one little small area within that bound, within the task study area, but it depicts and shows what FEMA's missing in their modeling. And it's very clear that it's just, that it was painted with a broad brush. And that's common. I'm not saying they did Hammond a disservice, but, you know,
In that time frame,
that has occurred in other jurisdictions. And we, principal engineering, has been successful at getting LOMAs approved, CLOMAs, which are conditional letters of map revision, plus the letters of map revision.
so I guess it has a lot to do with how they collected their data 15 years ago, the process when they went around and
They have-
collected. It wasn't as detailed as it is now with computers and different surveying technology, or?
Correct. They had, it's a monumental task.
Yeah.
They're not focusing on a micro section. They look at it as a broad stroke. But there's some unique things here north of the tracks with the drainage features that they have that were clearly missed.
Considering that you can get it changed, it is a disservice because people have spent a lot of money on flood insurance in that area,
Yep.
in most of those areas.
Yes, sir. Yeah, their model basically kind of shuts down from that study limit, one side to the other, almost acting as a wall, which, you know, model results show water surface elevation increased as a result of that. And just removing that alone, without the topography changes. So we see definite benefit. And again, once we finish and prepare our deliverable and get the results of our model and what we think we can challenge, you know, we're going to come back to the city and present those findings, and it would be the city's decision whether we proceed with the request. We obviously not going to. I mean, I think I've heard some concerns of possible, you know, what if the results show the opposite effect, and it, you know, shows a worsening of the flood zone or an elevation of the, you know, an increase in the BFE. Well, you know, we certainly wouldn't turn in or request a map change
When all those results come back.
if the results come back indicating that. But we see that you know sometimes, and I'm gonna be honest, like, so we've been involved in a number of these. There was an instance in Mandeville where the result ended up being 90% of the area got a benefit, but it negatively impacted 10% of the area. And so, you know, they had to make a decision. You know, do we request a map change for the 90% and then 10%?
Can you do that? You can separate it, like not turn it all in, just leave out the.
There are ways, yeah, there are ways to look at that. In that situation, we couldn't.
Okay.
We couldn't in that situation. So just be clear that did occur in one of our projects in Manville. We don't see that happening here. I just want to be clear that,
Yeah.
you know, we don't have the results in front of us, but what we see here is a
Positive
majority
so
or
far,
positive
yeah.
across the board.
well, after phase one or task one, you guys had some really good information showing that there's a lot missing. And, you know, this is something that started before, I think all of us were on the council. It was a totally different council that started with that initial review. And so it's a long time coming. I have people in my district, which is a lot of at the flood zone, asking, hey, what's going on with that flood study? So that's, you know, that's why I'm very pleased that you're here, and hopefully we can move forward with this and at least get good information, right? And then we'll have a chance to evaluate it and determine whether and how we want to move forward with submitting new maps.
Yes, ma'am.
So I'm looking at this estimated time, 2/25/2024, that's when y'all should be finished?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's our projected schedule in the task order. I believe that is correct. Let's see.
And how much this project costing the taxpayer altogether?
So the total cost is $373,970, plus we included, I think, $7,500 for FEMA comments, and that's hourly. That's not, you know, it depends on how much effort gets put into their comments, if they do have comments. And then we did, what's not in here, like I mentioned, we started this with the reconnaissance task, just to do a review of whether or not we even saw that there could be a benefit to even move forward with this. So it's 30,000 on top of that number. Would be the total.
But ain't nothing you can guarantee the citizens, right?
There's no guarantee, but my opinion is that there will be benefit.
Okay.
We've been successful in other jurisdictions at doing this exact work.
That's it for me.
Any questions from anyone from the public? Step up to the mic, give your name and address, please.
Sal Nicolosi, 3607 Highway 190 West, Hammond, Louisiana. This phase 2 and 3, is this going to complete the project for $300,000?
Yes, this will complete the project to get us to a point to get an answer from FEMA. If the city so desires, once we present the results, yes, it would then be presented to FEMA, and they may have comments, which is the last piece in there. If they do have review comments, then we would go through those, but then it would complete that request, and they would either issue an approval or denial. And that would complete it.
But how did principal engineer come up to the figure of this forced time factor and stuff?
Yeah, it's mainly man-hour estimates, classification of employees, and man-hour estimating. This is an example of that. So we break the task down into major task and subtask with rates of different classifications of employees and man-hours that are estimated to complete it.
So I guess I asked the question again, is this the final phase? How much was spent on the first phase? Who did the first phase? Did Spangle Engineer do the first phase?
No.
Who did?
So this is what's been spent to date. We've collected the data.
Okay.
81. That's 81 plus the 30.
So the city of Hammond's already spent over $120,000, 110 on project on phase 1, and now you're going to spend another $300,000. So that's close to $400,000 or $500,000 for this. Is that correct?
400.
And then you still got to get it approved by FEMA
FEMA will need approval.
through your company.
So the city makes the application.
Where have you got your information from, on the city of Hammond?
That was phase 1, that $100,000. So there was surveying and data collected during that time that gave them the information that they would take to task two, to phase two, and input it into computers that do things that I don't understand.
So
It
this
spit out new
company-
maps.
This company did phase one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so they spent y'all spent 120,000 already. That's just a survey.
For a large area. There's a very large area. There's a lot of data that was,
What area did y'all cover?
there's a map in front of you.
Pretty much like all the Hammond, city Hammond and flood zones, like by Elida, Tammy Drive, Brenda, all that area that's in it.
Okay,
Just,
well,
yeah, all that area, the west side of District 4.
The north end of the, yeah, yeah. Everything north of the railroad tracks.
Of the study. I can leave you this, which is the initial report and memorandum of findings. So this is the report that was the first 30.
Should be everything in a flood zone in the city of Hammond, from my understanding, yeah.
And then this was a status report once we collected the data. So I can leave you with those if you.
Well, the flood zone, from what I'm aware of, is in Tangipahoa Parish is running, FEMA did anyway. Way back after Katrina, they ran flood zone all the way to Highway 190 West, if I'm not mistaken, and that's where it stopped. So what I'm trying to figure out, we're spending a survey, and we already know that we're in a flood zone anyway.
The idea here is to have survey and data that we can present to FEMA to say, your map is wrong. You're not considering a bunch of things that we have, and this data shows, is making it where your base flood elevation is not correct. And so you need to adjust your map, which therefore would adjust people's flood insurance rates.
So different areas of Hammond would be able to, with this program,
If FEMA accepts the data and the
Accept it.
map, then it
eliminate the flood zone.
potentially, or lessen it, or,
That's correct.
yeah.
Or
Okay.
lower B-
That's the
or
goal.
Lower BFE.
Okay.
And also make people not have to build so high in certain areas that are not as, flood prone as the maps think they are.
Okay, that's the reason I'm asking, because I'm paying for flood zone, never flooded where I live in 100 years.
Yep.
Yeah.
But FEMA said, hey, you're in a flood zone.
Because we're
Yes.
trying to show FEMA's map is wrong.
So there were some errors back in the day, hopefully, some errors back in the day.
As the
That-
councilman mentioned, it's detailed hydraulic modeling.
Yeah, and back in the day, they did a lot of it by hand in different ways. Now this has more computers. But just to clarify, this dotted line, it does have, you can double check your deal, Tammy, Brenda, Elida, west side of the district. I just want to make, I keep hearing north of the railroad track, but I want to make sure that it's west,
Yes.
west of Hammond.
See how the map goes?
Yeah, I see the map. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page here.
Well, it don't have no.
I know it's north,
street
but
number names
I'm worried about
or
west,
where
where the flood
street
zone is in my district I know of.
It's
I'm
just-
worried about the whole city.
So
but
this
I
is
just wanna
all in
make sure
Black
it's
Diamond?
covered.
Yeah,
So
with this,
this is west of I-55, and it goes south of 190
Yeah.
right there.
That's fine.
Well, didn't the council have a map blown up or something to show?
When they did the original presentation, yes, this is the one that's in the same proposal that we saw
Yeah,
back
2
in
years ago.
2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes into
3
your
years.
area, Mr. Sell. So here's I-55, and here's 190. See, this is your area, right there.
Ask a question, sir. So on the response to FEMA, so your company, the one gonna present it to FEMA, right?
yes.
So what's the time frame with FEMA for us getting something back? The truth, please.
Yeah, they're pretty responsive. They have consultants on staff that are hired under contract that actually are gonna, it's an actual private company working for FEMA that will be doing the review for FEMA. And so they're pretty responsive because they're under contract. But,
Do you remember how long it took the St. Tammany one you were referring to, I think, was the response for FEMA?
I think review and comment was, 6 months,
Got half a year.
6 months, review and comment.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The other thing I'll just comment is they gave us this initial cost for their services back in November of 2020 in this first proposal that they did. They have held true to that, whereas many other companies have come back with much higher costs for services. So thank you for holding on to your original proposal costs.
Thank you.
Don't give them any ideas.
Well, they already gave it to us. Now you just got to approve it.
Let's hope no amendments.
No whammies.
Anyone else from the public? Any other questions or concerns from anyone on the council? If not, pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome, thank you.
Resolution number 4.
A resolution to approve the appointment of Todd Delane and Russell Mayer, representing the East Side property and business owners to the Downtown Development District Board for a partial term effective immediately to December 31st, 2023. Michelle Kendall.
Good evening again. There's, I guess, maybe a little bit of revision to this resolution. There's only one seat that's available, so it's the appointment of either Mr. Todd DeLon or Russell Mayu for this seat. We had a resignation from Mr. Frank DiVittorio, who served as our East Side Business and Property Owner Representative. His term was subject to end at the end of this year. And so following our statute, we just enacted our standard nomination process. We opened the nomination period up for 14 days, and that was from February 22nd to March 8th. And as you can see in the letter, this is the third time that I've been before you in 3 months for a board appointment, so I think you're probably pretty used to it by now. But you can see the items pulled from our statute of the eligibility criteria, and with that, our office did receive 2 eligible nominations for the seat, Mr. Todd DeLon and Russell Mayu. They are both here tonight if you'd like to speak with them. Each of them have been checked to ensure that they meet all of our eligibility criteria, as well as all the nominating parties also meet. Taxes are compliant and occupational license are compliant.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you, Council. My name is Russell Mayu. I am the owner of Ram Properties. My office is at 602 East Morris, so I am in the district that I'm interested in becoming part of. I know Todd very well. He's a great guy. He would probably do great as well. However, I feel that my industry is more conducive to the seat that's available, quite frankly, as a real estate investor, as a developer in the construction industry and everything. That's one of the things that the whole board is kind of lacking when I went through this the last time. So again, I appreciate your support and I look forward to the opportunity if it comes about. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Todd DeLon. I currently own the Red, White, and Brew. We own Boutique de Fumé. We live at 206 East Thomas in downtown Hammond. We also own 5 commercial buildings in downtown Hammond as well. And I bring lots and lots of business experience with me to the table. We bought the brew in 2012 and since have grown sales by 7 times. And we also opened up Boutique de Fumé in 2017 and have increased our business by 78% since we opened that one as well. And my only hope is that I can sit on this board and economically influence people to spend their money in downtown Hammond. I have a very heavily vested interest in downtown Hammond and the success thereof. Thank you. Appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Is there anyone else in the public on this item? Any questions or concerns from anyone on the council? Okay. All right. With pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to nominate Todd Delani.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you both
Thank you.
for
Thank you.
being willing to serve.
Sir.
I hate this process where y'all give us a list of people. If we could find a better way of y'all vetting your nominees, I would love that, but I don't think that's what the statute says.
It doesn't. And if to change it, we'd have to go to the legislature.
That's not happening. Thank you both.
So thank you. Now we have a complete board once again, so I appreciate you all doing that.
Thank y'all and congratulations,
Yes,
Todd.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Resolution number 5.
A resolution to authorize the Hammond Downtown Development District to serve alcohol during the Picnic in the Park event on on Friday, March 31st, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Alcohol will be served on the 100 block of West Charles Street. Michelle Kendall.
So Picnic in the Park is back, everyone's favorite live music event in Cade Square Park. I'm going to pass out some posters. So our first concert is Friday, March 31st, and we are seeking to sell alcohol at this event. We will hold the ATC permit. The reason why we have all these kind of split up this time for resolutions is because we're partnering with a few different organizations. So we plan to sell alcohol at this event. Well, our March event on Friday, March 31st.
Anyone from the public have a question on this item on the agenda? Anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario? Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Aye. Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is there not an open container waiver too? Am I missing it?
It's further down.
coming
It's
later.
further down. Okay, gotcha.
These are a little unusual because of the different codes.
Right, gotcha. Okay.
Resolution number 6.
A resolution to authorize the North Shore Arts in Bloom to serve alcohol during the Downtown Development District Picnic in the Park event on Saturday, April 29th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Alcohol will be served on the 100 block of West Charles Street. Michelle Kendall.
So like I mentioned, we're partnering with different organizations for our season. We're partnering with North Shore Arts in Bloom. They have a 2-day event that is on the Friday before, and our live music event will kind of cap off their event on Saturday evening. They will hold the permit for the ATC permit, and they will be selling alcohol at our event. Representatives from North Shore Art in Bloom is here if you'd like to ask them any questions.
Anyone else from the public on this item? Any questions from anyone on the council?
I guess I should have asked, what, is this beer and wine? Is it hard liquor? Do we have a?
So for us, we'll be doing beer and wine. North Shore Arts in Bloom, they can kind of speak on, if you want to speak on what you'll be selling. They have a kind of special stand that they'll have, some offerings.
Hi. Excuse me? Yeah. Beer and daiquiris.
Okay.
Margaritas.
Could you give us your name and address, please? Too?
Oh, I'm sorry. Colleen Scarl, 603 West Morris Avenue, Hammond.
Thank you. All right. Anyone else have any questions? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Resolution number 7.
A resolution to authorize Southeastern Louisiana University Alumni Association, Inc. to serve alcohol during the Downtown Development District Picnic in the Park event on Friday, May 26th, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Alcohol will be served on the 100 block of West Charles Street. Michelle Kendall.
So our last concert for the spring, we're partnering with the Southeastern Alumni Association. They will hold the ATC permit, and they will be selling alcohol. I think for this one will just be beer. And I think all of us will be selling non-alcoholic beverages as well. Didn't mention that earlier. Katie wishes she could be here tonight, but they had grad fair today, so we're excited to expand our partnership with the Alumni Association with this event. It's actually going to be a green and gold night in partnership with them, so we're really excited for this partnership.
Very good.
Anyone from the public? Questions or concerns from anyone from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Resolution number 8.
A resolution to grant a waiver of the City of Hammond's open container law to the Downtown Development District during the Picnic in the Park events held on the following days: Friday, March 31st, 2023, Saturday, April 29th, 2023, and Friday, May 26th, 2023, each from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. The event boundaries are West Charles Street, North Magnolia Street, West Robert Street, and North Oak Street. Michelle Kendall.
This is the open container resolution for us to sell alcohol and have the open containers in the park.
Anyone else from the public? Questions from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Just two more.
Yeah,
Make it.
I see you on here deep tonight. Resolution number 9.
A resolution to authorize the Downtown Development District to serve alcohol during the Hammond Farmers and Artisan Market Spring Fest event on Saturday, April 29th, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Alcohol will be served on the number 2 block of West Thomas Street. Michelle Kendall?
So this is also the same day as our Picnic in the Park event in collaboration with North Shore Arts in Bloom. However, this is going to be in a separate location. We've hosted, we'll hold the permit, and our vendor will be Benny's Place. We've done Bloody Marys and a mimosa bar at our farmers market. It's gone over really well. Community members love it. We keep a limited menu to Bloody Marys and mimosas to have an offering, with breakfast. So yes, we are looking to add that on to our farmers market for that day. The North Shore Arts and Bloom is also hosting a flower and art market at the same time in the parking lot across the street from Brady's. So in addition to our market in Railroad Park and on the 100 block Northwest Railroad Avenue and their market on the parking lot, there will be a lot of activity in downtown that morning.
Hope we have good weather.
Yes, fingers crossed.
Anyone from the public? Any other questions or concerns from anyone on the council? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Resolution number 10.
A resolution to grant a waiver of the City of Hammond's open container law to the Downtown Development District for the Hammond Farmers and Artisan Market Spring Fest event on Saturday, April 29th, from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. The event boundaries are West Thomas Street and Northwest Railroad Avenue. Michelle Kendall.
Lastly, the open container permit for us to sell, to have alcohol at the farmers market on Saturday, April 29th.
Right. Any questions from anyone in the public? Any questions from the council? Pleasure of the council. I make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
And Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Resolution number 11.
A resolution for the IT department to purchase a Generac industrial model SD050 diesel engine-driven generator in the amount of $26,005.70. State contract number 4400026321. Lacey Landrum.
Marcus could not be here tonight due to a prior commitment. We are purchasing a separate generator for the IT room alone. Earlier, the IT room was included in the City Hall's generator and the generator that would come to support this building as well. What we found is that that is causing multiple issues. So after lots of consultation, both with our city electrician and with Entergy and with Marcus looking at all of the IT needs, he is wanting to purchase this generator just to support the IT room. We are also going with a diesel model rather than a natural gas model after we saw the interruptions in natural gas supply during Ida. So this is off of state contract. It is a much better pricing scheme than if we bid this out separately. And Jana's here to answer any questions about the state contract, but that's why this item is here. It is within budget. We're consolidating some line items within his budget area to make this happen.
This wasn't a budget item, though. This is arisen from...
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Originally, we thought it was going to be included in the overall larger generator that supports this building and the the City Hall complex. However, because there's so many unique needs to that equipment specifically, this is a much better plan for stabilization. You don't have to worry about breakers tripping with other pieces of the building coming online and with so many complex pieces of the building. What we want to ensure is that the IT resources and assets stay powered up regardless of what may come. I don't know about aliens, but we're hoping that everything else we can counteract.
What line items are they pulling that from in their department?
Some of it is coming within the IT department, and then I don't know what specific line items. I just know Marcus looked at everything that he had and said he felt like he could cover it. If he needs a little bit more, we may come to you and say, hey, we're going to pull some from general administration or from the mayor's budget, but I know overall we had enough to make it work, according to Marcus.
Anyone from the public? Any other questions from anyone on the council? Pledge of the council.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Councilman Andrews.
Aye.
Councilman Divatario.
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez.
Aye.
Councilman Leon.
Aye.
Councilman Wells.
Aye.
Resolution number 12.
A resolution to approve Budget Change Form 23-01, merging the remaining balance from FY 2019 appropriation to lift station improvements, FY 2023, Project 616-123023, J. Pittman.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
What I have for presentation before y'all is Budget Change Form 2301. What this does is takes a 2019 miscellaneous water and sewer appropriation. The subsequent item, as you'll see, is ratifying award of bids taken March the 9th for lift station improvements, which was previously appropriated. But based on post-COVID, as you all are probably aware, the project was over budget, and we were able to utilize the funds that were previously appropriated under miscellaneous water and sewer. So all we're doing is taking that appropriation and moving it to the Lift Station 23 project to cover the budgetary shortfall. So the amount that we had there, the 130, would cover the budgetary shortfall for Lift Station 23 on the following agenda item.
Lacey, does this close out that line item that there's $130,000 in? Yes. So there's nothing else, there's no extra. That's the full amount of that line item. Okay.
So how much money we talking about altogether?
For lift stations or for, so the total appropriation for the Lift Station 23 project is what you see there in the line item of $860,000. That's for improvements for 4 total lift station sites.
And those are, Lincoln, Jackson Park area, Blackburn,
Whitmore and
Whitmore,
Magazine.
and Magazine.
Miscellaneous improvements to each of those individual lift stations.
If you look on the next item too, in the detailed budget of lift station improvements, a few of the things Jay has out to the side, what those would exactly go to, which lift station. So that's why he's saying various improvements.
Anyone from the public have a question?
Sal Nicolosi, 3607 Highway 190 West, Hammond, Louisiana. How many lift stations do we have in the city of Hammond? I'm sorry?
50 plus lift stations.
That's a lot of lifts. In here, how much has been appropriated already for the work that you're doing or whoever's doing?
The previous appropriation was 730,000.
Looks like Lawson Bonet Construction was a winning bid. Okay.
Okay, and I see you're gonna have another one behind it.
Yeah, that's where we'll look at the bids. Right
Sorry?
now, that's where we're looking at the bids. Right now, we don't have enough money to fund it, so this is to move money from one line item in the budget to this actual project. So that's what this resolution is for.
Well, how much money are y'all moving to that?
130,000 added to the
130?
730s for
And that'll take care,
860.
that'll take care of all the lift stations?
No, the four that they
Only the
mentioned.
four that are problems? Which, where?
Blackburn, Lawrence Drive, Lincoln Park, Hardin Drive, those are both the same, they're just different names. Magazine Street and Whitmore.
Okay, thank you.
So they both share the same lift station?
It's the way that's the way I refer to them, that's the way the city refers to them. It's either, so Lawrence Drive, Blackburn, that's
Yeah.
kind of the way the city classifies it, and Hardin Drive, Lincoln Park, it's.
They both share all that one at the end where they had servitude had to get?
That's right.
Yeah,
So that's.
both of them are coming out of that one.
That's Blackburn, Lawrence Drive.
Yeah.
The scope of the project was to install a new access road. Currently, as we previously talked about, it
Yeah.
kind of weaves through people's backyards, and they have to the people are parking cars in the roadway when they're the city's trying to do regular maintenance on them. So what this does is provides all-weather access to that particular lift station site without having to worry about blockages or high water was another one of the issues to getting back to where the lift station's located.
Yeah, that was another, we couldn't have fenced that in, that section over there. We drove back there the other day and I saw that they had a car parked in there, banning all kind of trash in that area. There's nothing that we could have done to fence that area in a little bit to where the car that's abandoned sitting there could get moved out. That was another thing that, a little off the subject, but it was something I needed to bring up anyway because it looks pretty bad over there in that little area by the end over there. And yeah, it's like Burton, it might be. Yeah, take a left, Burton, all the way to the end, and it goes to service that. And I think there's just abandoned car sitting there, and a bunch of just looks like a little mini landfill to the right of it, like right there. So, yeah. So I didn't know. You familiar where I'm talking about? Yeah, it looks real rough, and I didn't know if there was anything. If it's on a servitude, a city servitude, to get the access point on there, I figured we should probably be able to have a gate or something where we can. If it's in there.
We did. We're coming off of Rogers Moore Parkway. Yeah.
So y'all going to abandon that? We're abandoning that and not going through there ever again?
I'm sorry if I didn't clearly explain that. We're providing an access road off of Rogers Moore Parkway,
Yeah.
which is going to have a gate at Rogers Moore, and that again will just provide us direct all-weather access to the lift station site versus going through that neighborhood, going through whatever servitude may or may not exist there. I'm not sure if one exists.
Is there one there? I thought there was, and if there was,
We have had ongoing debate about where the servitude is located and what has access. What this is a permanent solution to always being able to get to the lift station.
yeah, I understand that now completely, but on that other note on that, is there anything that we're looking at doing with that? I mean, it's a pretty disaster right there. I don't know if it's.
It's a perfect example of having like we did on Saturday, trash pickup. We get out there and get in that end of Blackburn and go in there and do a pickup. I don't know if you remember when we did one in Lincoln Park.
Yeah.
And just go in there and clean it up. Just need to get the neighbors involved in wanting to keep the area clean. And as far as the car goes, we'll tag it and.
Yeah.
This is why
tow
we're
it.
working on the abandoned vehicles
yeah.
ordinance, then the amendment.
Any other questions? Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Resolution number 13.
A resolution to ratify and award bids received 3/9/2023 for lift station improvements FY 2023, project number 616-12302. J. Pittman.
What you have before you is the bid summary and bid tabulation. The bid summary, excuse me, let y'all know what contractors bid on the job, and the actual tabulation shows how we arrived at the bid numbers. We had 5 total bids, the low bidder being Lawson Benet Construction, in the amount of $734,076.00. Lawson Benet Construction, as y'all are probably aware of, is a local company. So what I recommend is ratify and award the low bid to Lawson Benet Construction in the amount of $734,076.00.
How long this project supposed to last?
The contract term is 150 days. What we have right now is material lead times related to equipment, and this particular project is heavy on the equipment. We're installing a grinder at Magazine, as well as some new pumps at Whitmore, and we have electrical controls and componentry going in at the other 2. So all those items, whereas the contract term is 150 days, we might have equipment lead times of anywhere between 6 and 12 weeks. So they start once they receive their equipment. We go ahead and award and start the process of getting their submittals in. That way we can review them, approve them, and then they can place their orders. So the quicker we do that, the quicker the contract gets underway, the actual construction.
Okay, you said 150 days, then you threw me off when you tell me about the equipment, the weeks.
Okay. So after they place the order, it's kind of like if you go to a dealership and place an order for a pickup. They're going to tell you, we'll deliver your truck in 6 months.
Okay.
Kind of the same thing with a contractor. He has a contract with the city to begin work. They might tell him that they can't get the pumps for 12 weeks, 10 weeks, 6 weeks. It varies on equipment. So we try to work with the contractor on giving them a little bit of leeway to place that order and get the equipment in their possession. That way they're not charged or liquidated damaged, or they're not immediately behind the 8 ball as far as the contract time frame goes.
All right, thank you.
Anyone else have any other questions on this line item? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon? Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you.
Resolution number 14.
A resolution approving repairs to the old basketball pavilion in Mooney Avenue Park by the lowest responsive and properly licensed quoter in an amount not to exceed $60,000. The Note, the goal is to expedite repairs, so new playground equipment can be installed in April. $78,000 is already budgeted under Project 12112, Mooney Avenue Park. Playground improvements cover repair. Charles Barsha.
Good evening.
Good evening.
To quickly recap, the plan in Mooney Park is to install the playground structure under the old basketball pavilion. That gives us a fully covered playground, swings, slides, playground equipment. We've actually accepted delivery of the playground equipment. It shipped very quickly, much more quickly than we thought. So it's now over at our 190 facility, our maintenance facility. As this agenda item says, we're trying to expedite the repair work to the pavilion. Originally, we thought we'd just be doing some painting work. Grants happened to be out there a few weeks ago to take some measurements, to take some photos, and started noticing some deteriorated metal. We had that looked at and realized we have some structural work that needs to be done. It's not in danger of collapse. I want to make sure everyone understands it's a safe structure, but if we don't address these issues now, it's just going to continue to deteriorate. Fortunately, we do have funds budgeted. These were budgeted, I think, back in 2021 for playground improvements. We weren't going to need those funds because we got that grant for Mooney Avenue Park, so we have these monies essentially there for contingency. We are proposing to use those funds to cover these repairs. We don't have quotes for you right now because we're in the process of soliciting those, so the idea here is to get your approval of the lowest responsive licensed quoter's quote so we can proceed. If we were to wait till the end of the month, to the last meeting of this month, we probably would not be able to proceed with the playground installation in April. This is all about trying to maintain that schedule.
So in other words, Charles, this goes forward now. Within the next couple of weeks, everything will be done and then completed for the installation of whatever's coming in for April?
Correct. Yes, that is the goal. I've already spoken with and met with two different contractors. I'm meeting with a third one tomorrow that are proposing on quotes on this project. I'm explaining to all of them that speed is of the essence here. We're trying to move forward as quickly as possible. So they're kind of reassuring me that as soon as, if they get the bid, if they get this project, if they get the low quote, they'll be ready to go like next week. So we're hoping that it'll take them 10 to 15 days to complete the work. I spoke with the playground company earlier this afternoon. They're saying that, it looks like mid-April, they'll be able to come back. So.
Is this, do you have like a scope of work and a bid date? Is this like
Yes,
the ones
yes.
that we're doing with the engineers? There's a scope of work and an actual bid date for people to come in?
Yes, there's a scope
Okay.
of work in the request for quotes, which is not attached. I apologize. We did specify a scope of work, and we asked for everyone to return quotes by this Friday.
Okay. That's what I was kind of confused. This looks very broad, and I'm just making sure there's an actual scope of work where we know.
We're hopeful that the amount's going to come in lower. That's the threshold at which, 60,000 is the threshold at which we would have to go out to bid for, under state law. So we're giving ourselves a little room there. We're hoping it's going to come in much lower.
Okay.
Anyone from the public have any questions on this item? Anyone else from the council? Pleasure of the council.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Councilman Andrews?
Aye.
Councilman Divatario?
Aye.
Councilwoman Gonzalez?
Aye.
Councilman Leon?
Aye.
Councilman Wells?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's gonna be nice to see when they finish that. Yeah. Reports, Mayor?
We'd like to thank, we had a cleanup downtown this past Saturday. We'd like to thank Home Depot for showing up, Rusty Cogan and his team, and all the employees that came out and helped us clean up the downtown on Saturday. And also, we have a schedule of the picnics in the park. Carly, you want to touch on that?
Let's see, Friday, March 31st is the first one, then April 29th, and then May 26th at Kate Square Park, 5:30 to 7:30.
Council reports?
Yeah, I got a couple. I just want to go over some things I've been trying to get done here. I didn't get a response on some of them, so I just wanted to make sure that there's some ditches on 1210 Blackburn Extension that I submitted in?
On the list.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure I didn't get anything, just yeah, got it, Sam, or whatever, would have been nice. And then 903 Rue St. Michael, I got some utility lines in the back, checking in on that with BJ, but just trying to make sure, see if who needs to trim them. It's in Villa West on the rear side. They run the utility lines. Lato Lane, some ditches on Lato Lane on the corner of Old Baton Rouge Highway. Mr. Jean put that in a while back, wanted to get that taken care of.
We looked at it, didn't look like it needed to be cleaned out.
Okay. We'll let Mr. Jean know or something if it's not an issue.
Show them to keep it on the list.
Okay.
In case down the road it gets a little high or what have you.
All right. And then Lato on the corner there, 44377, it's the hurricane damage. It's been like that for a while. Insurance, this and that. Is there a working permit on it, cleaning up? Is there anything that we can do about it? It's a reoccurring call on the street on that.
No
from
working
neighbors.
permit, claiming the insurance as you're talking about, and agree with you totally. They need to get the back part of that house torn down if they're not going to do anything else to it. So
Is there anything we can do about that, Andre, as far as if they're not listening?
we're going to have to send them a letter, and we're going to have to end up doing it.
Okay.
Leaning them.
I'd appreciate that, clean that up over there. Street lights, 1605 West Church Street. The lady keeps calling me about it, saying it's not fixed yet. 2108 Westdale Court, corner of Westdale and Belfast, and the Hardin Drive one in West Church. The dark area right there in West Church. There's three of them in a line, 1000, 1002, and 1004 Rue Chalette in Villa West.
Yep, they've all been tagged. If you look at the
Yeah,
yellow
they're all
tags,
tagged,
that was
yeah.
me. I went out and tagged them. That's actually Energy. All the ones like you see around Roma Street and all those that Mike could take care of in the neighborhoods that have standards that we fixed. He fixed all of those, trying to get BJ and his team to get out there on these lights.
Yeah, because that was is it an energy problem going to those three? Because they're metal poles, so that's a city lights on the Rue Chalette or city lights. So, because they're all metal poles, city.
Is that over there by Roma?
In Rue Chalette in Villa West.
Or in Villa West?
Yeah, in Villa West, those three in a line. So that's been there for a while now. So
But then he has a list. I gave him the list again
Yeah.
today, so I'll check with Mike tomorrow. Still
check
should
with-
have been done.
check with that, because I mean, I'm just saying this because when Robert Morgan and Miss Hammond's energy, it was like clockwork. Things were done. I wouldn't have to keep getting calls from the residents. It was a very, very timely manner, and it was at least a communication as far as it's on the list, Sam. Be 2 weeks, something, so I can let the people know, hey, it'll be 2-3 weeks, and then they're fine. But that's all I'm asking for is just a little.
All the
status.
metal ones should have been done, so
Yeah,
I'll check with
they
Mike
weren't.
tomorrow.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And then cameras in Jackson Park over there. That's on the list. We have that coming up pretty soon with cameras over there.
Marcus had on for approval tonight, but then pulled it off because there was some sort of discrepancy in the quote that he had received. They have to put in the internet first before the cameras can be live. The internet is not built out, the fiber is not built out to that park, and I believe 1 or 2 other parks, and so that's the
Mooney
quote
Park,
that he has for
Martin Luther King Park.
full installation of all the internet. That has to happen before the cameras can go live.
That's what I told him, to get a price on getting all the parks with the internet placed in it, what's the cost going to be, so you can approve it and we can
Okay.
just get it all done.
So y'all foresee that this year sometime? Okay.
Oh, yeah, it was supposed to be on for tonight, but then we noticed something about it, told us.
Thank you.
The council reports?
Yeah, I want to thank Mr. Isaiah for coming to the city council meeting. He haven't been here in a long time. And my next one, Mr. Mayor on Mooney Avenue, all those new lights we put up, now been trimmed before. Now that the leaves are growing back on the trees, the lights are getting dim. Can't spread out. Then as far as the work with the infrastructure, they've been doing a good job, and I told Mr. Chuck, we met several times, only thing I see is the safety. It's not there. The hose was uncovered. Chuck and I rode around several times, and I was pointing different things out to him. And he said if to get sued, the company would get sued, not the city of Hammond.
Doesn't matter, we don't want our people getting hurt. I agree with you.
Yeah, so I told him it don't matter. I just won't want none of the kids in the community, nothing to happen to them. On Brent Street, FEMA came out and cleaned that debris up on Brent Street, so that was good. Other than that, just want the community, all communities, to be safe. I didn't get with Marcus, but we did talk about the parks. Every park in the city of Hammond should have cameras in them.
I agree.
So we did.
That's why I told him to stop and make sure he gets the price for all of the internet, so when the company comes in, they can hit every park with what he needs to get the cameras in each one.
Yeah, and then signs need to be posted that they do have cameras in the area.
Any other reports? Andre, I'm gonna send you an email to follow up with you some information for the food truck ordinance, when we can meet and get this on the next agenda. Also, Mayor, I think we're getting somewhere with our issue on Campo Street. I see some of the stuff is coming down, so I think that last incident last week, I think that done a little eye-opening on that side of town. I know this Saturday that some of that stuff is coming down.
It's unfortunate he had to be arrested.
Oh, yeah, but I guess that's what got their attention. All right.
One more thing too, President. Yeah, Andre, I know we met with Bobby. We talked about the trailers. The 30 days been up, and we should have had more discussion about the trailers as far as in the city of Hammond. So
I'm glad you brought that up. It's just slipped my mind. I got an email that you guys will be receiving in the morning from me on reference to some dates where we can have a follow-up meeting.
okay, well, look like I don't need to say nothing else.
Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Meeting adjourned.
Who?